Hello.
Wait, are we side? Rotate device.
Rotate device. But I think you can rotate it and people can still see it without being sideways.
But it keeps telling us to rotate the.
Okay. All right. We're rotating the device. But now how can you see if people are chatting? We have 0 people here. But it still says 0 people here.
But M. Burner says.
Is M. Burner
she is
here? Is anybody here right now? Are we speaking into a vacuum? I believe we may be speaking into a vacuum.
There's one person.
One person.
And a thumbs up.
And a thumbs up. 5 people. Woohoo!
How do we rotate this?
That's a good question. There has to be a way to rotate this. So welcome back, everybody. We are in the midst of, well, we could show them outside for 1 second. A gigantic thunderstorm that has come out of nowhere. And so here we are. Welcome back, everybody. Take a few deep breaths. All right. So glad to have everybody back here. Not sure how we can rotate this so we can get the Pookie in. Maybe you can just sit right here with me.
I gotta go close a window.
Okay, you go close a window. So we've got rain. I don't know if we have hail. The trees seem to be going sideways. So what happened is the internet went down. We are on satellite coming off of a cell phone tower, and I think the tower got knocked down by the winds. So welcome back, and it's perfect because we were talking about being the eye at the calm eye at the center of the storm. And that's what we've got going on right now. And now it is suddenly starting to stop. Maybe we'll actually be able to get back outside. So, all right. We were talking about body. We're talking about mind. Let's talk about soul. And let's talk about how you can soothe your soul. And I wonder if I can pull up. I guess I can't pull up my notes. We're just going to have to go off of heart for this one. So when it comes to your soul during this time, for ourselves, we're going into automatic writing. I'm sure I've told you about it before, automaticwriting.com, a way to get grounded and get centered and really hear from your inner wisdom. So each morning we're going into automatic writing and asking angels, guides, universe, what do you have to tell me? What do you have to share with me? What can I learn from this experience right now? So we go into automatic writing each morning. And then what we're doing is our best attempt at living from a state of prayer. When I coach somebody right now, what comes through, and I do automatic writing when I coach, the most interesting thing that comes through is that we are not, in a sense, allowed to have the answers right now. Isn't that crazy? But we're going through such a period of change that we are, in a sense, required to breathe into that change and allow that uncertainty, allow the chaos to be there in order for something new to be birthed. What does this mean? It means if you were only marginally spiritual before, now is the time to get so. Not because we're facing end times, not because it's a Mayan end of the world. Actually, it is an end of an epoch. But we want to plug into something greater than ourselves right now because I feel like we're being rewired or upgraded. And okay, I wasn't planning on going there tonight, but I feel like this is an upgrade for humanity. It is an upgrade from the day-to-day intellectual grind into a more heart-centered space. Did you want to try rotating the camera there? And I'm not sure what this button here would do. Would that just flip it back and forth?
The other screen.
All right, so let's try rotating it once again.
Okay, we're going to be sideways. Hold on, everybody.
Hang on to your seatbelts.
Don't get sick.
We're going for it. Rotate device. Rotate device. How do we get the two of us on here at once?
Did we go sideways?
I think we went sideways for everybody.
Just want to confirm we went sideways.
But it seems to be stuck on M. Burner, and I haven't been able to get any chat from anybody since then. So I don't know if we've gone sideways or not. Live chat. Hit live chat. There we go. See yourself as part of it, because so we've got upgrade. So please, we just want to ask, if we go like this, is that part of the chaos now? Or is that, or are we seeing you, how do we put that?
Sideways?
Are you seeing us sideways? Yes. So does yes mean you're seeing us sideways? Or does yes mean that definitely chaos, lower right corner where you touch screen is a square. Touch that. So it sounds like sideways. Yes.
We don't have that option, the lower.
We don't have that option.
Oh, but look, we can change your coloring.
Oh, I think blush or crush is better.
Really? I was thinking pop.
Pop?
Yeah,
pop. Oh, right.
Oh, look, he's got color now.
I do.
He's not pasty anymore.
I am really not pasty. The cameras make me out that I haven't been outside since like 1999. But so we're going to try here to see if we can get this so that we can rotate it. So bear with us.
No.
Okay.
We're giving up on that.
So do you want it here? I can angle it and we can just get it nice and snug. Huh? Why don't you come join me?
I'm feeding Meowsers. Meowsers is it's dinner time and he loves his minnows.
So yeah, so now they're saying that Jessica is missing. So after you feed,
yum yum yum.
Why? Where do you even go with this? Humor. We need humor during this time. I love it. Oh, somebody just said it has to do with... What? Did you just stroke me with a minnow? Did I just say that on air? All right. Our audio is out of sync. So when we full screen it, the way we can't see Jessica, can't turn the phone sideways. So they're saying we're like a poorly dubbed movie right now.
Sorry,
not sure what we can do.
Nothing we can do about that.
But I wonder if we're going to be able to see a rainbow in a minute, because now the sun is coming out and it's been raining. All right, is there anything that we want to share? We're talking about body, mind, and spirit. We're talking about doing automatic writing, of going to a place of prayer, to going to your spiritual practices right now, to really, I have been in one heck of a state of giving it to the angels or giving it to the guides or whomever right now. It just seems so important for grounding that we go to something greater ourselves. Is there anything you would add to that? I have put her on the spot.
I'm trying to replay what you just said because I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about stuffed animals and puppets.
She got me puppets this week.
No. Look, I think people want real information, so
okay.
Skip the question.
All right.
And I will try my best to pay attention.
What we're talking about is getting grounded, body, mind, and spirit. We've talked about grounding into the body. We've talked about getting moving. We've talked about for mind. We've talked about what you look at is what's going to affect you. So how do we get both back into our bodies? How do we get to a more mindful place? How do we focus on either quieting the mind, not hopping onto trains that we don't want to hop onto? And we're going to be teaching that in our boot camp this week. $7, by the way, in case it cuts off on us again. I think you can go to inspirenationuniversity.com.
Or the link is in the pinned comment below.
Okay, perfect. Link is in the pinned comment. $7. You can join us all week. We're going to work as a group. We're going to be clearing wounds. We're going to be clearing blocks. We're going to be helping you to get lighter. I think that is one of the biggest pieces right now. And that is the piece that we didn't get to yet this weekend. I think part of it is there's a mental hurdle to clearing out the house because we can't find a Goodwill that's open with social distancing and stuff. But we want to get as light as we can. And I think that lightness helps us prepare for whatever is coming next. And then from a spiritual perspective, I'm going into my automatic writing each morning. I am asking lofty questions. Why are things moving with such grace and ease? Why are things so easy right now? Which gives the universe wiggle room to help bring that about. And I'm going definitely into the deepest state of prayer I've got to wonder why you are smirking and cracking up. Why don't... Pookie, it's yours.
I should not be on camera right now.
It is yours. You go, girl.
You want to know why I was smirking?
I'm afraid to ask, probably looking at my bangs.
No, I like those.
Oh, okay.
I was replaying the minnow scene. See, you don't want to know what's going on in my mind.
Where do we go with that one? Where do we
I think
go?
this is when you say, okay, Pookie, we tried. Let's have you off camera now.
Okay, Pookie, we tried. I'm not going to kick you off camera. I'm just wondering if it's going to get dry enough for us to go back out with the chipmunks and the squirrels in a minute. And I think it will, actually. The way the rain was coming in, I think it may actually be dry over there. So let's take some questions from people. Let's take some questions. If you're concerned about getting grounded during this time, about refilling the tanks, what are your questions? And let's see what we can do to help you here this evening. Maybe that's the best way to go. What do you feel?
Okay.
All right. So let's see what questions we have. Question number one, we need more minnows. Oh no.
We're running low.
We are running low on minnows. It's crazy. When you love your cats, you will have minnows, you will have chicken hearts, and I am predominantly vegan unless she sneaks in some food on me.
Well, you gotta show them what it looks like. Sorry for the vegans.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know, but...
Chicken hearts, what else do we have? Kelp. Okay, that's good. Is spending time in a park a great idea?
Yes!
Say more.
Well, for us, just stepping out onto the deck and being with the fresh air and the wind and the birds and the chippies, of course. I mean, we can watch on our watches the stress levels going down, but even if you didn't have a fancy watch, you can just feel it.
So the one caveat about that is you want to be someplace where you can be focusing on yourself and Earth rather than on people all around you. So if you're going to a park that's very busy, or if you're big into social distancing or masks and nobody around you is wearing a mask, that might actually stress you out more. So you might want a place that has a little more quiet and solitude. So for ourselves, we're going to go out for a walk after this. And when we go to a park, we kind of look for the quietest path through the park that we possibly can. And that helps us get grounded. What's the next question that we have here?
Where do you get those?
Angel's asking where we get our minnows.
The minnows? Raw Paws Pet Food. I've been buying raw meat from them for years now.
As crazy as it sounds, would that be a good sponsor for our tour?
Possibly.
Interesting, because somebody mentioned they did a 12-day tour, and Berner did a 12-day tour, RV trip, and ever since I've been home, I felt tired and sadder than normal. So, and Berner, what we need to do is recreate the tour at home. How can we get you out to explore? How can we get you to new and different and exciting places? And this is something for all of us. Even when it was stay at home, we lived for several years just outside New York City, and there were still state parks, national parks that you could get to that wouldn't be closed down, where or even county parks where you could go hike and connect with nature. And I think when we talk about what's a powerful place to get connected to or to ground, is to get out with the trees, get out with the bushes. Our healing place, interesting, our healing place in New Jersey was first and predominantly a little trail called Pyramid Rock. I've lost her. We have lost Jessica, aka the Pookie. All right, since you've been laughing at stroking minnows across my face, why?
I don't know.
What are you cracking up at now?
Same thing.
You're going back to the minnow.
I've anchored the visual,
The minnowness.
the minnows on your face. So now, a week from now, if I'm having a low moment, I can revisit the scene and revisit that feeling.
I'm a
and
little
start
concerned
laughing.
you're going to start bringing minnows up in my face while I'm working on something on the computer.
No, not necessary.
Not necessary.
No.
You can just anchor in.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Perfect. Shall we take another?
Yes.
Oh my God, my third eye realized. Thank you so much for your kind donation. Thank you.
Did you read the question?
Both of you go to grounding. Oh, careful.
There was a question about
Both of you go
our
to ground.
go-to grounding methods on the spot.
Okay. So if I'm at my desk, I'm actually using earthing products. I think it's like tinyurl.com, Inspire Nation Earthing or something like that is a place to get our earthing products. Not our earthing products, but get earthing products. But I am plugged in when I sleep. I have an earthing mat on my desk. I will spend time just standing barefoot on the ground. That helps. But if you need the fastest method in the world to get grounded, go to the breath. In. Feel your belly expand. Breathe in through your nose. Feel the belly expand. Put a hand on your belly and feel it expand, and out and feel the belly contract. You do that 2 or 3 times, just anchoring into the breath, and you will feel so much more grounded. Minnow one, I have no idea what to do with you this evening.
Yeah, me neither.
Shall we take another question?
Yeah. I wish it's hard because the chat it appears and then it disappears. So it's hard to follow along with
All right,
questions.
I think we got some more questions up here.
Okay. While you're looking for other questions, who did your hair? Me.
Any suggestions for getting back on track with a good morning routine? Do really well for several weeks and then get knocked off schedule and struggle to get back in the flow. And certainly a morning routine is an excellent way to get grounded, especially during this time. The more routine we have in general, the better right now. As far as a morning routine and getting back on track, 1, I'd be setting alarms. 2, I'd make a commitment. 3, I'd get an accountability partner. And 4, I would ask, what am I afraid of? Because procrastination has to do with fear. Am I worried I'm not doing a good job through the day? Am I worried I'm not getting done the things I want to get done? What is the fear that is keeping me from staying on track? Once you get that figured out, you truly become unstoppable. So ask yourself what that fear is. And then I would use these other tools to help you get back on track. All right, let's see what we have for more questions up here. Working in my garden, growing veggies, barefoot. Awesome. Did you get the message about the RV business Facebook group? No, Edward. I would definitely like to look into that. And for that matter, probably get to look into an RV sponsorship. The more sponsors we have for this tour, the more fun I feel it will be. Let's see, what else do we have here? More questions from people. Keep the questions coming.
You saw the one you addressed the
Which one?
morning routine, right?
Yes, I addressed morning routine. Do you have any questions for me? You always have a good one.
How does it make you feel when you have 5 minutes until a coaching session or an interview and I start cutting your hair?
That's never happened. I am one of the big things about this time period, and for us particularly with a miscarriage, but this time period is...
Can you stop bringing that up?
Okay.
I don't need to be reminded.
All right. It's just a period of total surrender. So when you go, I want to cut your hair and we have only 5 minutes to go, I'm like, that's insane. Okay, let's do it.
But you know what happens is I finish one side, I don't quite finish the other side.
That's a good point.
My go-to grounding technique. Well, at least this time of year, it really is just going outside and sitting on the deck. It'd be better if I actually made it to the grass. But even if I don't make it to the grass and I'm on the deck, just being out in nature. I mean, we're fortunate that we're surrounded by nature. Um, but there is something to the sensations and the sounds. There's science that shows that the sounds that you hear in nature are very grounding and relaxing.
This won't be one of those sounds.
I mean, I would say the only thing that's missing from our outdoor sanctuary is running water. And Michael, you interviewed
Jay.
yeah, Jay, was it?
Nicholas J. Wallace.
On his book, The Blue Mind. And in that book, he talked about all the benefits of being around water, being in water. Do you remember any of those?
Well, it's extremely calming. There's something incredibly calming about it.
It didn't work because then they get half of our
Hold
faces.
on, I don't want to hit you here accidentally because I have that. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. And so when we go walking a little bit, we will park down by the river and we will cross over the river several times. So getting a water fountain in your house can help. Having water images up can help. Having the sound of water can help. I used to have a rain-making machine in the house. I'm not sure what you're doing.
Look this way when you think.
I have no idea why you're having me look this way.
Because every time you think, you go, "Oh, I'm off camera." Spouses should not be directors. I didn't sign up for this job.
No, she's a coach in her own right. Not only has she coached me. What, I go like this? All right, you talk.
About what?
Anything.
Questions? Let's see if there are questions.
All right.
Hi, Roller Girl in Las Vegas.
You've got a question from Mike Chang.
I do?
Yes.
Mike Chang does flow training on YouTube, does tapping, breathing, stretching, exercise, breathing. I do not. That's not a question.
Oh, okay. All right. What other question? Do you ever feel unmotivated? If yes, how do you get back on productivity track?
You answer first, and then...
I am not so much unmotivated, but I might be swirling in too much confusion over, do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do the other thing? And what I need to do is write those things down at that point to come up with what's my single-minded purpose, my SMP, what's the one most important thing that I do. And then I'll tackle that and then go to the next and then go to the next. So it's not so much a lack of motivation for myself. Although I will say there are things that I do want to procrastinate, and I ask what the fear is, but how I have wired myself, and I do a lot of rewiring when I work with coaching clients. When either one of us work with coaching clients, we're rewiring our coaching client's mind. And so there's a concept that I call front loading that becomes exceptionally important, which is to do the most challenging or most difficult thing first. Rather than our human nature is to take on the low-lying fruit, take on the easiest thing first. What happens is you do the easiest thing first, you don't get to the more difficult, more rewarding things afterwards. And you feel real crappy about yourself. If you do the most difficult things first, then no matter what happens, you feel you are very successful about your day. This does take a conscious effort and it does take training. But if you choose to look for what are the things I'm putting off, I'm going to do them first. And give yourself continuous, when it comes to habit building, give yourself continuous rewards. Ever since I was back in college, I would do a little studying, watch a couple minutes of TV. Do a little studying, watch a couple minutes of TV. And you go, well, Michael, isn't that like a high switching cost? Isn't that ruining your time? No, it's this concept by Dr. Srini Pillai called Tinker, Dabble, Doodle, Try. Or when it comes to Dr. Amit Goswami, famous quantum physicist, he calls it doobie doobie doo. You go in, you get out. You go in, you get out, and you relax the mind by giving it tiny little rewards. The more you reward the mind, the more it will do what you want it to do. All right, going to pass it on to
Well,
Jessica
just a
here.
comment about what you just said. I wouldn't like work for 5 minutes and then watch TV for 5 minutes and work for 5 minutes. That's
Too much of a switching cost?
Yes, and then your brain gets fragmented. But like, could you handle 40 minutes of work or 45 minutes of work and then take a 15-minute break?
It depends on what I'm doing.
So it depends on what you're doing, but I think it also depends on your brain. So it's different for everybody.
Yes.
But you need to experiment and find out what works best for you.
I couldn't agree more with that. And for myself, there's a low switching cost between, it's interesting. For instance, if I'm going from one task on the computer to another task on the computer, that's a very low switching cost for myself. If I'm going from one task on the computer to talking with you and then back to the task, now I've actually gone into an auditory channel, and it's hard. She was directing me. It's hard to get me back.
It's like a puppet.
Onto I am a puppet. Shall we take another question or two here?
Well, I think I had an answer to the question.
Okay.
So I usually don't have a problem with motivation either, as long as I know my why. Why am I doing this task? Why am I working on this project? And if I have a really good, strong why, then I have motivation for it. I will, though, dread some tasks because they're daunting, or I'm just, usually it's daunting. I know that once I dive in, it's like opening a can of worms, and then I'm in. I can't stop in the middle of it. And usually that's something website related.
Q is talking about 20 minutes of study, 20 minutes of fun. When I'm reading a book for the show, it's probably 20 and 2. It's 20 minutes of reading, and it's 2 minutes of looking at something, anything else. 20 minutes of reading, 2 minutes of something, anything else. There is a science behind recharging the neurons and getting glucose back in your brain cells. And so for myself, it's about that 20 minutes on and a couple minutes off. Depending on the task, I may be able to push it. The trick is I can do a focus for a longer period of time. Now, we're not talking about coaching when I'm plugged into Universe, this when I could be plugged into Universe, or an interview where I'm plugged into Universe. But when I'm doing quote unquote work, I might be able to push it, but I'm often using the adrenal system. And I want to be very careful that I'm not dipping into my fuel reserves to say, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. Instead, I want to allow myself recharge, come back in.
I've also been guilty of that, where I just, when I was younger, like even in grade school, but mostly in high school and college, I would really drive myself, and I would just keep going until I was like feeling sick. And oftentimes I actually did get sick a lot when I was in college, because I was totally ignoring my body and pushing. So even now I'm still learning. My coach, we both have a mentor. She pointed out to me that I need to stop before I feel like my brain is fried. So even now, I go. I notice my brain is fried. I'm like, okay, time to take a break. But I need to stop before the brain is fried.
Well, I'm guilty of that one too. It used to be blood sugar challenges, that I would push it until I don't crash the way I used to. I would push it until my blood sugar would crash, and then once my blood sugar is crashed, I no longer feel hungry, and you can't make me eat, but I'm legally a moron, is the best way to put it, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
And so I've had to stop or graze. Grazing is what I tend to do, but taking those more frequent breaks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so it takes reminding yourself that you do turn into a moron if you don't take frequent breaks. That's how you motivate yourself to stop if you have a problem with pushing too hard.
So I think it's also important, since we're talking about this, of alignment with the task, with the time. So we have a dear friend who is a marketing guru, and he couldn't write marketing copy until like 10 or 11 o'clock and after his second cup of coffee. For myself, I'm really good at writing early in the day, then the brain shuts off. I can actually edit midday, but coming up with pithy writing at that point becomes more challenging. Not impossible when I'm in the writing or in the editing, but there are different times of the day when you're better at certain tasks, and figuring out which tasks when you're best at helps you get in flow. Because what we're talking about tonight is we don't want to dip into our fuel reserves. We don't want to go into the spare tank because we don't know what's coming our way. It's why I like to literally run small mountains, and I've been keeping the runs extra short lately. I joke with Jessica, I'm like, yeah, I'm out for 2.5 hours. I'll see you in probably half an hour to an hour, because I don't want to tap into the reserves. When you figure out what you're best at when, you're not shredding yourself apart, but you're going with that energetic flow of the universe.
Point.
Next question.
Next question was...
And should we mention the boot camp coming up?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we've got a boot camp coming up Monday through Friday. What's a boot camp? It's an opportunity to come to be with friends and like-minded individuals. 5 nights. It's 8:30 Eastern time, 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern time. It's 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. For 75 minutes, we're going to come together. We're going to work on topics, grounding, recharging. We're going to do group clearing exercises. We're going to be doing group intention work, which is super powerful. And it is... I guess the best way that I can describe it is we've held, 7 boot camps now, and it has been transformative for everybody. It has been the number of testimonials and positive comments of we've gotten together as a group, and there's teaching, and there's a tiny bit of homework, and there's learning, and there's getting lighter, and there's growing, and everybody has come through transformed. And so this one is going to be on getting grounded and recharging, refilling your tanks. Why now? Why are we holding a boot camp right now, mid-July? Because our crystal ball suggests a lot of stuff is going to be going down. We don't know exactly what. And so if we're the light workers, if we're the ones who are going to be the change makers of the world, and also if we're the empaths, if we're the most energetically sensitive, I don't know why I keep being moved one direction or the other.
Because you're pushing me off the camera.
But you were pulling me back to center.
No, you overdid it.
All right. Is there anything you want to mention about the boot camp? It's only $7. There's nobody who.
Well, it's a boot camp pass, and the $7 is a 30-day trial, so you can try it out. And even at full price, you get way more than the money's worth.
Yeah, we hold a boot camp a month. So this one's on grounding, recharging. We've got another one next month and after that. But you also get you'd be able to get all of our past courses for that $7 for this month, and then you're grandfathered in at like $21 a month after that, or cancel any time. But the point is, you will come away transformed after this week, vibrating at a higher level. I talk with Paul Selig on the show, I don't know, once every 6 months, and his guides, and we talk about going to the upper room, transforming your energy, being at a higher vibrational state. And that is a big part of where we help get you during these boot camps. The link is below, both in the comments. It's the top comment in the comment. It's also in the description. You can find out. You could also go to Inspire Nation University. You've got to scroll down a little bit for that, but highly recommend for the $7 trial. Come join us for this class. Is there a next question, or is there anything you want to share?
Well, did you talk about the community? I mean, I think that's one of the greatest values that people have reflected back to us, which is that it's a really loving, safe, supportive community. And there's also a private Facebook group.
Yes, with all of our boot campers. And I'm sure there are boot campers here who can add something in the chat room and add how much they have enjoyed it. But that community function is so important, particularly as, we are able to get out a little bit during this time, but to find people that resonate at the same frequency that we're on, particularly now, seems to be a bit challenging. And so you're going to be with like-minded individuals going through this together, and you're able to ask our questions live, and you're able to ask rather than just in the chat room. If you want, you can toggle yourself on. We can see you, we can hear from you, or you can do it in the chat room as well.
And
Yeah.
it will be horizontal.
It will be. Imagine that.
So if this is your first YouTube live with us, we don't usually bunch up like this.
Cozy.
It's actually really hot. You're generating a lot of heat.
Yeah.
But we were outdoors and we lost Wi-Fi connection and we came inside. We still don't have Wi-Fi for the house, but we do for the cell phone service.
Yeah.
So
I think part of the whole valley went down. So because of the link is not in the chat.
yes,
No, it's not in the chat.
because we don't have the ability to easily put it in the chat on the phone, but it's in the comments down below. It's also in the description of the video.
So-
wait, actually, no, we're in the wrong. We
I see what you're
yes,
saying.
we ended.
So what do we do?
Well, I guess the easiest thing is if you go to inspirenationuniversity.com and look for the bootcamp basic pass.
InspireNationUniversity.com. Look for the Bootcamp Basic Pass. InspireNationUniversity.com. Bootcamp Basic Pass. All right. I know we get to go for a walk here in a little bit. Are there more questions that you want us to take first? And if
Well,
so,
somebody asked where are you at in the world? We are outside of Aspen, Colorado. Oh yeah, yeah. What else is there? Somebody had asked, how do you know if you're connected to this source, Cynthia?
oh, that is a beautiful question, Cynthia. And I think when you're connected to source, there is a bit more peace, a bit more understanding. It doesn't mean that life is suddenly perfect. Okay, let me step back. We are always 100% connected to the source. It's a matter of how clear is that connection or how much your mind is affecting that connection. But we are always 100% connected. We are source. We are energy. We are universe. So there's no disconnecting us, but we can lose that sense of connection, having high levels of fear, of anxiety, of worry, of feeling spun, of feeling ungrounded. And so what we do, we go back to source with all the things that we talked about tonight, or simply saying, God, source, universe, help me plug back into you. Help me to feel your presence. Help me to feel more connected. And to do that, it always helps to go a little bit quieter, and we'll pull out one little stuffed animal tonight, to go a little bit slower. The slower we go, the more source can reach out to us. But when we're going like a squirrel, and we're moving really quickly, and we're going like this, and we're thinking all over the place, it's almost impossible for source to chase us down. So it is especially important when you look at the tortoise versus the squirrel. Forget about the tortoise versus the hare. The tortoise versus the squirrel. How much can I slow down and be like the tortoise during this time? Anything you want to add?
I think the squirrel is more fitting than the rabbit because I feel like the rabbit is more focused about what the rabbit wants to accomplish in a day. You know, it's pretty simple about its diet, whereas the squirrel is all over the place. It's like chewing on sprinkler systems and deck furniture for no reason at all.
While we were talking
and
outside,
just generally destroying things.
While we were talking outside, there's a lining down below the deck. There's a lining that keeps the mulch on top of it. And as you were talking during the YouTube live when we were outside, there was a squirrel who had it between its teeth. It was yanking and yanking and trying to tear it apart.
I'm a little concerned about our blossoming squirrel population.
It is. We're going to have a talk with them.
People talk about rabbits multiplying. I mean, these squirrels, they're just...
There were 2 last year. How many squirrels are there this year?
10 or 12.
You think that's it? I think at least 20.
No.
You don't think so?
No, you like the fish gets bigger.
No, I don't believe this is the fish getting bigger. I'm going to do a count. We're going to...
How?
Census.
You're going to have them line up?
Squirrel census. There's a way to do this. Yes. Anyway, okay. Any last questions? Anything that you want to share?
what was the last thing you're? Oh, source.
Mhm.
There are a few physical sensations that, to me, feel or help me feel like I'm connected to source. And the way I describe it is like if you ever watch an amazing singer on stage and they're just singing from the heart, and then you get like goosebumps or the hair stands up on the back of your head, but not in like a like creepy dark alley kind of way. Um, to me, I feel like that's connection. Um, Another thing is if you've been meditating for a while, eventually you'll experience sensations of maybe your eyes are closed and you start to see light, and then you open your eyes because you're thinking like who opened the curtains or who turned on the light, but nobody has. um, that to me is starting to tap into source as well. um, and then there are moments where you just have a really strong heart-to-heart connection with someone, and you just want to like hug them, and even if you're not hugging them, you feel like you're hugging them. I don't know quite how to describe it, but when you have those heart-to-heart connections, I feel like those are times when you're connecting to source too. It's almost as if, or maybe not almost, um, it's like you're connecting to the divine inside the other person,
Beautifully put.
which is source. There's source flowing through all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed about the squirrels and the rabbits. um, oh, cool. Cynthia sees spinning circles. I coach people with their breakups. I want to know, is there anything special you suggest to those going through breakups?
I want people to breathe into them. I think it's especially important not to push it away. There's a time and a place, so you don't have to take on everything at once. But we can look at a breakup as seeing something terrible. We can look at a breakup also as being incredible opportunity. And I think the more that you lean into the opportunity, because how do I put this without sounding callous? Every breakup is an opportunity for something greater. It doesn't mean that they weren't a great person, but every every breakup is an opportunity for something magnificent to come out of it. We get to grieve, we get to mourn the loss, and we get to take it at our own pace. If I was coaching somebody, I'm going to go to tapping. I'm going to do my own version of a process like emotion code. I'm going to help them dive in deep and learn from this experience. But lastly, and I want to see what Jessica feels here, I want to help somebody if they're going through a breakup to learn how to love themselves up even more, or at least be just a little bit kind to themselves. And no matter how the breakup occurred, I don't want them to be kicking on themselves, because there is always sources involved, and there is always more going on than meets the eye, and there's always a measure of divine timing going on.
When I think back to my breakups, and in particular the ones where I was the one being broken up with, so I was the one being dumped.
I've got to pause you. Who in their right mind?
Well, one of them said that they needed to focus on, not they, it was a he. He needed to focus on, because these days it could be he or she, his relationship with God. So I was like, well, I can't compete with that. I'm not going to say, no, choose me over God. So that made it a little easier. But when I was really honest with myself about the relationship, I realized that there was a bit of relief, actually, because there was a lot in the relationship that um, wasn't working out, and I wanted to look past those issues or put band-aids on them. Um, so I find that in a lot of breakups, there's actually hidden relief. And if you can be honest and focus on the relief, that actually can relieve some of the grieving too. Um, and you can start to realize that, wait a minute, this is actually setting me free, because I didn't want all that stuff that I'm now relieved of.
Instead, you got stuff with me.
I mean, did you secretly feel relief
Yeah.
in your breakups?
Yeah, and I was kind of, not always, but there's an element of it probably, and it's good that we try to hang in there, and I always encourage people to move slowly. But there was certainly an element of it didn't need to go on that long,
Mm-hmm.
but I was almost waiting for something else to take place to make it easier to end.
Oh, you were one of those guys.
What does that mean?
Well, I've been in relationships where, have I? Or was this just in movies? So long ago. Okay, but I feel like I've been in relationships where the guy just becomes more and more neglectful.
Oh, no, 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 not me.
Okay.
No, I've been a good guy in each relationship. I have never been, let's just let this thing grind along until it finally blows
there
apart.
are some people who don't have the courage to initiate the breakup, so they distance themselves and they hope that the other person is going to do the breaking up, the hard part for them. But there was one more thing I want to say about relationships. Yes. If quite a bit of time has passed, let's say several months, even a year or more, and someone is still feeling attached or hasn't quite gotten over somebody that broke up with them, or maybe they even initiated the breakup, doesn't matter. There's an exercise where you envision the other person standing across from you, and you envision the emotional cords that are still connecting you from your belly to the other person's belly, and you just start to cut those cords. You envision yourself, maybe it's a chainsaw if you need, or maybe it's just a pair of scissors, whatever you think is required for the job.
I've never thought of cutting cords with a chainsaw.
Well, I think it happens. I mean, if if we split our ways, I think we would need a chainsaw or like explosives. What?
I don't know. I have no idea where to go with that. We were just talking yesterday about our 10-year wedding anniversary is coming up, and what are we going to do? And now you're talking about us breaking up with explosives. Where do you go with that? There is no end to your surprisingness.
Well, wouldn't you be devastated if I said, oh, all it would take is like a butter knife? That's how easy it would be to get over you, Michael. I'm sure there's some good questions. Let's see. How do you deal with stress when it feels it will never end? Take it away, Michael.
That's where we get to do the work that's here tonight. The stress will never end. It is a matter of how much space we get in between the stress, and then how much we can reframe the stress so that there's good stress and there's bad, in quotes, bad stress. I think it's called eustress is the good stress, spelled EU stress. What does that mean? It means we do techniques like going into meditation, like breathing, like timing nature, like finding things that you like to do, and building up your tanks, body, mind, and soul, so that you can handle the stress. And going to a place of gratitude, looking for what's most important to you now, and going, at least I have, boom, whatever it is. At least I have a phone I can watch this on. At least I have the health that I have to watch this on. Now, it's easy to say, gratitude is all kumbaya, and oh yeah, you just think, thank you, thank you, thank you, and we're going to feel that much better. But it does help. It certainly does help. And then I like to offload as much as I can to spirit in my automatic writing in the morning. And you can find out more about that, automaticwriting.com, or just in prayer. But how much can I offload to the universe and go, all right, we've got a political crisis. We've got an economic crisis. I may have just lost my job. I might lose my house. And I have had the triple eviction notice on my door, and it was an absolute miracle that I was able to stay in there. And how much can you say, all right, God, source, universe, this is too much. I give up. You take this. So I think that can tremendously help. Did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I was thinking back to the early years in our marriage. It was like one thing after the other after the other. It was just nonstop. And there was one year where you had your big accident, your
Yep.
NDE, and then we were audited by the IRS,
Yep.
and something else really big. I don't recall, but doesn't matter. The details don't matter. And I was really fried. And from a physical point of view, my adrenals were fatigued. So I don't recall what supplements I started taking at the time, but I remember one of them said that it was for adrenal fatigue. But I would
Like a
Google,
kidney tonic or something.
yeah, I would Google ways to support your adrenals, because the stress starts out here, but then it takes a toll on your physical body, and then you can get into a cycle where your body starts to wear down and your body starts causing you stress, and then you should get stressed out about your body. And so just keep in mind to take care of your body as best you can too.
Which means after this, are we still going for a short walk?
Yes.
Excellent.
Which means get a lot of stress, not stress, get a lot of rest.
Let's see what else we have here.
Yes, rhodiola. That was one of the supplements I took. Thank you, Jane.
Excellent.
Whoa.
I think if you scroll back up, there's one. Why can't she sit shoulder to shoulder with him instead of way back?
Because if we did that, both of our heads would be off of...
No, but I like what's being said. What she's saying is you're an equal.
Yeah. And I prefer him to be blinded by the sun rather than me. See, if I did this, then I'm like...
And I sun gaze each morning, so I don't actually notice it. And you go, how do you do that?
Anyway, the way we position ourselves has nothing to do with Michael and how he sees me. I just happen to be more comfortable to the side, and even off camera or behind. So.
But in terms of, well, let's be honest, we're people call us a power couple. In terms of power, does that mean that you have any less power in the relationship?
No. It just means I'm not as comfortable being on camera as he is, and I'm also not as comfortable speaking for an audience as Michael is. But it's something that I am working on growing into. So if you've been watching these YouTube lives for a while, then you've probably noticed me appearing more and more, except during the miscarriage. That time I brought it up. But anyway, so I don't want him to be off camera.
I am very much into fairness. In fact, if there's last food, last whatever, will I take it? Unless I'm asleep at the wheel, will I always save it for you?
You will attempt to save it for me.
All right. What else do we have?
There was a psychic reading recently for you about you getting into the forefront. Was there?
You've had some interesting psychic reasons
Recently?
lately about getting into your power.
Recently? I know somebody watched our Kim Russo show. That was actually from
It's been growing in popularity. I think it's spiking.
nearly 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
She said Kim Rosso. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, um,
We had briefly there, how do you sun gaze, sunrise, sunset? I try to sit with the sun. I look at it right as it's at the horizon. I can't recommend it for anybody. But for myself, in fact, we have an episode with Sayer G coming up, and we talk about the power of the sun. I feel like I'm getting literally vitamins in, and there's a whole science about that red light right at sunset and sunrise, what that does for the mind, what it does for the physiology of the body as well. And so I'll take that time. Now, what's unique is I will literally sit with squirrels, chipmunks, and golden mantle squirrels at sunrise. And I can tell you it was 6:41 this morning because I was sitting with them. And actually, there was a chipmunk that was screaming the alert, not because of me. And so they didn't sit in my lap when the sun came up this morning. It was actually a little bit disappointing. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
maybe there was a hawk nearby.
Could have been.
I want to see if we have Wi-Fi available, and if we do, then I can put a link to the boot camp
Okay.
in the chat.
And then we'll head out for a walk. How's that
Sounds
sound?
good.
So let's
Keep
see if there's a
talking.
last question or two while you check for Wi-Fi. And this is perfect timing because we're getting the low battery alert now. It just came up. It popped up and said low battery. So you've had a lot of excellent shows. Thank you. Thank you. I almost want to talk about how while I'm on camera, how much, not as a supportive role, but in a leadership role you have off camera. Because I think that's incredibly important because people see me kind of the face of Inspire Nation. But when it comes to large picture decisions, when it comes to our programs, when it comes to these really big pieces of the puzzle, they're either a collaborative effort or a lot of them are coming from you all the way back since our first days together. All of the big pieces of the puzzle have been coming as much from you, if not more. Are we still Wi-Fi free?
We are. I don't know if we need to reset the router or whatever. Yeah, I'll take credit for everything good in our lives. Yep. Is that what you were saying?
Yes. There you go. There you go.
No, but in truth, I feel like I often have the big picture vision that somehow it pops into my head when I'm brushing my teeth or taking a shower or I don't know. Do you feel like that's true?
For me, yes. That's why I have to throw myself out of the house or go for walks or anything of this, go for walks or anything of this sort, is I need to be able to step back and the ideas chase me down. But you have consistently, and in fact, let's go to boot camps because we've got the boot camp coming up this week. You had the idea for our first $7 boot camp, for our first boot camp. You had that idea before COVID swarmed over us. You said, we need to do something for people. We need a way to give back. We need a way to help people, and particularly people who can't afford, there's probably a better word than that, but can't afford much more. How can we help them? And you came up with the whole boot camp concept. Mm-hmm. That was 100% you. Anything else you want to add? And if so, if not, it's 8 o'clock now. So from a walk perspective, what are you thinking?
Well, I like this question. What is your favorite thing about your partner?
Ooh. One thing about you. You're spunky. You're spunky, you like to dance, you're kind of sassy, you've got a really, really cool energy to you. How's that?
Thank you. My favorite thing about Michael is his sense of humor and I call him cheesy, but I really like.
Oh,
I secretly like the cheesiness.
that's so good to hear because it came from my dad, and my mom won't let him be his cheesy self. So thank you. I resemble that remark.
Um, yeah.
And it's warning us low
It,
battery
it's
again.
hard to just pick one thing. But that was the first thing that came to mind.
Cool. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank
Oh,
you. My
thank you,
third eye
Mike.
realizes. Oh,
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Thank
thank you, thank you,
you.
thank you. All right. Any last notes for our boot camp? We're going to teach you so much this week. It is going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful journey. Inspire Nation University. Scroll down to the.
InspireNationUniversity.com,
Mhm.
and on the home page, about midway down, you'll see Bootcamp Basic Pass.
Perfect. And we'll put a link here. The minute that we can type into the chat, we'll put a link here. So if you don't catch it, if you can't figure it out, if you come back a few minutes after this is over, I'm guessing we'll have gotten the phone plugged in and you'll find a way to be able to put the link in,
Yep.
not necessarily the chat, but we'll put it in and pin it to the comments. We'll put it in the description as well. Any last words that you want to share with people tonight?
I think the Wi-Fi needed to go out for several reasons. If it didn't go out, we would have gotten drenched, and all electronics would have gotten drenched in the downpour.
Yeah.
And secondly, it forced us to do this impromptu cuddle session.
Oh.
And this is the first time I've spoken this much in a YouTube Live with you, I think. So
And
got me out of my comfort zone, and it didn't hurt. I didn't die. In fact, I think I'm even stronger.
woohoo! And I think people get to see a side of you that they get to see when you coach, they get to see in boot camps a bit, but a side that they haven't seen in YouTube Live or interviews, which is this strong, you have a fierceness to you, but this strong, focused, helpful side of yourself that has been behind the camera that you're now daring to bring out on camera. I mean, you're getting cheered on here by people without me.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this side of me
So
on camera.
it's pretty darn cool. It's pretty cool. So come join us tomorrow night. Yes, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, and you'll have a lot more of this. The sun is setting as we speak. I think that's our cue, but I am just blown away at how much you are expanding into your power. It's the best way to
Yeah.
put it.
It's about time.
It's here. It's here. All right, everybody. Love you guys so much. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Inspire Nation University and the Bootcamp Pass. Is that where they're going?
Yep.
And we'll also put the link in here. We're going to go for a short walk because the sun is setting. Edward says, can I clone Jessica? You're going to have to talk with her about that one, Edward. But I can certainly understand wanting to have a Jessica in my life. I can't, I don't even have the words to describe how amazing she is and how much we all need a Jessica in our lives. That's all I can say. We all need a Jessica in our lives. So,
I am kind of in their lives now.
you are. She's a Scorpio. She's got a tail.
Yes. My sun sign is Scorpio, but the majority of my planets, or a lot of them, are in Libra. So I'm overall Libra, and Libra is my rising sign.
And what does that mean for those who aren't as familiar?
So the rising sun is the sign that you will be born into in your next life.
But what does Libra mean to
Oh,
you?
Libra. Libra means, well, if you picture the symbol for Libra, it's the scale.
Mhm.
So they make good lawyers. They're about fairness.
Mm-hmm. You are exceptionally about fairness. In fact, if something isn't fair, out will come the Scorpio tail.
Yeah.
Very, very good. All right. Love you guys so much. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. We'll get the links in here. Thank you for your patience with us. with the the internet tonight, which had to go down. But this is such important learning for us because we're going to be on I want to say book tour, on RV tour in a couple months. It could have been a book tour actually, and so it is very cool that we're figuring out our technology.
Yeah. Exciting.
Woohoo!
Yeah, go Libras. Libras rock.
All right, I can't end this. I'm going to let you end it, but the screen is dimming now
Oh, okay. Yep.
as it's saying it's going into power saving mode.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
See you in
everyone.
boot camp this week. We'll post the link as soon as we can.
All right. Be well. Keep shining bright, everyone.
It's only $7 to try it out.
Coach Mac had a question. Do we try for
Oh.
that, or we do go for that for next time?
I don't know what the question.
I don't know if the question's not there. I think we're going to have to wait till next time because all the lights are dim in here. So Coach Mac, please bring your question back next time and we will get everything. Coach Mac, great channel. Wish you both looking into it. I don't know, Coach Mac. Without sour, you can't taste the good. I can't find it, Coach Mac. All right, I say we let everybody go here for the evening.
Okay. Gotta resuscitate the cell phone.
Okay, and we'll get the link in here. Good night. Keep. I tried to copy the link, but it doesn't allow me. As soon as we get off of this, give us about 30 seconds, and we will have the link in there. Love you guys so much. Keep on shining bright. Isn't she powerful? Isn't it awesome? Aw, I don't know how to shut it off.
Oh, how do you stop it?
I don't have any idea.
The X button?
I'm a little scared of that one.
Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.